Super Smash Bros. For Wii U has been out for 7 months now. 7. And I just absolutely love it. The game has a lot of heart, super polished gameplay, fantastic music, and it's overall just really fun. I cannot personally think of a reason to play Smash 3DS over this if given the choice, aside from Smash Bros. So now that the game's been out for a while, I think it's high time I finally made a list of my favorite stages from it. I've already done a list for Smash 3DS, so if you're curious about that, then click here or the link in the description. The rules are the same as before, but I will go over the differences a stage may have in 8-player Smash. Not to mention that I've decided against talking about Omega forms, as they're technically different stages from their normal counterparts. And even though I said it in my other lists, I'm going to say it again, as always. All of these are my opinions, so if you agree or disagree, perfectly fine. Just don't be hissy about it in the comments. Well, this intro was a lot shorter than usual, but I'm not going to worry about that. Without further ado, let's get started. Hey look, a Mario Kart stage! Again! Now don't get me wrong, I really do like the new Mario circuit, but after coming off of Rainbow Road and Smash 3DS, there's no comparison which one is better out of the two. But I don't want this to come off as a least favorites list, so let's talk about why I like this stage. At its core, like some of the previous stages in my last list, this level's taken at least some inspiration from the F-Zero stages of the past. Honestly though, I think this pulls off F-Zero better than the F-Zero stages, at least in terms of mechanics. As you travel across various parts of the course, once you land in certain places, the Shy Guys racing will come at you from many different angles. From the ceiling, sidewall, or even a place with anti-gravity, you'll really have to be aware of your current location. The soundtrack of the stage is pretty good too, taking various Mario Kart songs and remixing the fan favorite from Mario Kart 8, Cloud Top Cruise. I wouldn't say it's amazing overall as a Mario Kart stage, nor do I think that Mario Circuit was the best rep choice for Mario Kart 8, but I do like it. A neat idea I've always wanted to see in a Smash game is dual plane fighting, and while this one isn't perfect, Jungle Hijinks fulfills that idea in an interesting way. You use barrels to switch between planes. Depending on the plane you're currently fighting on, you can get launched super far, or just a normal distance. Sometimes between plane transfers you'll hit one of these tiki looking rocks, which will put you back on the plane you just shot out from. They can get pretty annoying, but thankfully they don't appear that often. Something that I find extremely bothersome though is the fact that you'll be forced to switch between planes from time to time. Let me fight where I want, I don't need any falling platforms. I understand why this was done, as the match could become a game of cat and mouse, but surely there could have been another way. What I love about this stage are the visuals and soundtrack. All the songs are very jazzy and give off a good vibe, save Battle for Storm Hill. They complement the scenery perfectly. Speaking of which, the environment is simple, yet beautiful, and represents Donkey Kong Country Returns wonderfully, with its platform layout and lush greenery. Sure, I would have liked some Tropical Freeze representation, but I'm happy with what we got. Now here's a stage I guarantee almost no one expected. Having a stage based off of Yoshi's Woolly World is quite a great move in my opinion. First off, it raises awareness of the game being made, and second of all, it gives the team a neat little idea to work with. The main attraction of the level is this mobile, I'm not really sure, hanging over the ground. You'll begin in this valley-like area full of foliage in the background. It looks nice from far away, but up close, the textures are just plain ugly. Everything just looks blurry. Flat images and set pieces are present, and it just seems polygonal overall. Heck, even the rocket ship's textures weren't overlaid right. While I don't really like the aesthetics here, I at least appreciate the effort. Well, how does this stage work at least? For the most part, fighting is on the mobile. Both sides have cutely stitched cloud platforms with a mini rocket in the middle. Depending on your position, the mobile will move with your weight, which is an adorable touch. After spending some time on the ground, you'll have to migrate to the mobile until you're taken to the next area, which looks eerily similar to something in Yoshi's story. While you're fighting in this second area, the quality of the textures remains the same as before, but it feels hidden much better. It may just be that this part had more time put into it, or there's more to the background, but I enjoyed looking at this place much more. I know looks aren't everything, but having them look that dated in a game that's only 7 months old is a shot in the foot. But I digress. Gameplay wise, it's the exact same as before, nothing's really changed aside from the color. Something I could praise this stage wholeheartedly on though, is the music. It's honestly quite great. There may be only 2 new remixes here, but every song is just fitting of the stage, and there wasn't a single one I didn't like. Heck, they even brought in some of the good songs from Yoshi's New Island. Thank the Lord. Mushroom Kingdom U was a stage I was generally happy to see in the game. Visually it looks like a new Super Mario game, so it's not going to be the most eye-catching thing on the list. While it may not look visually gorgeous, I do love the core mechanic of the stage switching up. About every 45 seconds or so, Kamek will make a quick appearance and use his magic to change the stage into a variety of settings. From rock candy mines to meringue clouds, each subsection has enough substance to be its own stage, and I really like that. Except the castle section, I do not like that one, forget that part. A cool little feature within the stage involves various assets from other portions of New Super Mario U to pop up randomly, such as the beanstalk from Acorn Plains or the urchins present in Sparkling Waters. Nabbit also appears sometimes as well, but he's pretty easy to take care of. The songs here are pretty fantastic too, with plenty of remixes and original music to shake things up. My favorite of these remixes has to be the Fortress boss theme from Super Mario World. I would say have a listen or something like that, but you know. Overall, I'd have to say I'm pretty happy with this stage. It's certainly better than the last one with Mushroom Kingdom in the title. This stage is really, really creative. Taking what is arguably the best part of Game & Wario, aside from the multiplayer of course, and turning it into a stage is just genius. If you played Gamer in Game & Wario, you pretty much already know how this stage plays, but I'm going to explain it anyway. The stage changes its layout every time you play, referencing other parts of Game & Wario, which somehow make them better. During your scuffles, Mom over here pulls a Five Nights at Freddy's on you and tries to peek in with her demonic glowing eyes. It's not as scary if you get caught, but if you're playing stock, it might as well be. I mean, just look at that handheld jump scare. Terrifying. The look and feel of the stage itself is a perfect recreation of the original Gamer minigame, with the Virtual Boy, TV, cat, and who's this? Grandpa? You creep? Don't give me none of that. The song selection is fairly limited and features no new original songs, but it's not like you'll need them anyway when you could have the Silence of Gamer to accompany you in your battle. That's nice. Woohoo Island and Pilotwings are very similar stages, visually. They're both pretty fun in their own right, but the only reason I really like Woohoo was because of that nest glitch. Since they seem to have patched that, that's not even going to get a mention anymore because I'm going to talk about Pilotwings, a stage I actually play for fun. Every battle you'll always start off on the Pilotwing Island found in the Super Nintendo game. For the time being, you'll be riding a classic styled plane modeled after the original game's aircraft. You have 3 platforms to fight on, the top of the first support and the 2 bottom supports. About a minute or so in, you'll switch to a much more modern plane and fly around Woohoo Island. The main platform of the yellow plane is obviously the place where you land on, the top wings, but you can go down in the water support areas and fight, although I really don't recommend this as they're really small. The song selection of the stage, while minimal, is rockin', contained in 4 new remixes, the main theme of Dylan Rolling Western, The Last Ranger, and even a song from the wonderful 101. Out of all the stages, this one feels the most naturally made. It's got a nice feel to it, great music, and a nice polish to finish it off. If only Woohoo were this consistent. One of the more modern stages in the game is one that I didn't really quite see coming, and that is Windy Hill from Sonic Lost World. While I have no opinion of Lost World as I've never played it, I know that Windy Hill was a pretty good starting zone, so I guess it makes sense seeing it here. From a graphical standpoint, it's pretty. Yeah, just pretty. Its appealing checkerboard pattern, blocky grass, and flowers just make it an overall good looking stage. But I'm not judging these stages based on graphics, that's shallow. I'm judging these based on how I like them as a whole, so let's talk about the stage in terms of gameplay. The most eye-catching thing about the stage's design is the giant windmill on the right side of the stage. Its rotation can speed up or slow down depending on the course of the match. There are also bumpers near the bottom, but that brings up bad memories. Other than that, the stage feels standard. Kinda like Lost World. Sorry, had to make it a necessary jab. But it's standard in a good way, kind of like the new Super Mario games. The soundtrack is also pretty cool in this stage, despite having no new remixes and lacking one of the best final boss themes ever. It's a pretty nice selection of songs. Overall, I would say that this stage represents Sonic better than Green Hill Zone did in terms of the way it played, but I just wish there was more, you know? I don't really think I need to build this one up. It's Smashville 2, officially named Town and City. The quality changes from Smashville are arguable in terms of how it improved the stage. I personally feel as though the stage is a step up. I mean, just look at its spot on this list. But I can understand that the platforms, sometimes the cause of a loss, can dampen the super hardcore competitive players only experience. We're not talking about them though, so back to why I enjoyed this stage. Upon this stage's startup, the visual improvements over Smashville are clearly established. Background models are of a much higher quality, and the color palette seems to pop out more than before. The in-game clock feature makes a return, making the stage day or night based on what time of the day you play. KK Slider also makes an appearance on Saturday nights. It's really interesting to see who shows up during these rounds. But I'm drifting off topic. Let's talk about this stage's namesake, the town and city. The town side of this stage is based off of Animal Crossing New Leaf and is the portion you'll always start your battle on. It contains 3 platforms, 2 stationary ones on the edges, with one moving vertically up on top. Villagers in the background are also more closely related to their own setting, rather than the city one. Speaking of which, the city portion is based off of Animal Crossing City Folk and is the part 2 of this stage. The platforms decrease to 2 this time, only moving horizontally from the edges. Villagers like LaBelle and Gracie make appearances in this area, as they're more associated with this type of section. All of these features from the stage remain intact, save the villagers in 8-player Smash. Finally, there's the soundtrack of this stage. The music selection ranges from bouncy to calm, which is something I find a lot more fitting than most songs in Smashville. While I love listening to the 7 PM theme while fighting, and Captain's theme is great too, there's not an epic equivalent to Go KK Rider, which is sad because I really like that song. But honestly, outside of the music selection, I don't really see a reason to go back to Smashville. The fact that a stage can outclass its predecessor this well is a great thing in my eyes. Mario Galaxy. I know that this stage isn't the most spectacular spectacle in the entire game, but I feel as though my liking for it is just. First detailed note, the way the stage looks. It's Mario Galaxy, of course the visuals are amazing. The Doom Ship and Starship Mario are the main background elements of this stage. Yeah, they don't do much aside from float around, but if they weren't there, then it'd just look like 8-player Smash. The stage's foreground is heavily based off of the first planet in Super Mario Galaxy, with the house and trees and whatnot. The main gimmick of the stage is the gravity. Here, your angle means everything. Projectiles you toss out curve around the planet, making you think a bit more strategically when throwing out that power shot. 2 platforms are on the insides of this stage, but they're just standing there, menacingly. I know I haven't really said much about the stage, but there's not a lot to talk about anyway, except the music. Now, I know it could be considered silly to put a stage up this high just because of its song selection, but when you have the fated battle from Mario Galaxy 2 and the grand finale from Bowser's Inside Story, then there's no reason for me to not put the stage this high. Am I one-sided? Maybe. Should I have put 3 Mario stages on this list? Probably not, but I never said I couldn't. Does anyone really care? No? Hope not anyways. You guys all know that I'm not in love with every Pokemon stage out there. I especially found the Prism Tower to be only okay and not really something that truly represented Generation 6 all that well. And look what came with the game that was supposed to have stages based off of console games. Now hold the phone. Both of my favorite stages in the new Smash Bros. Games, being Pokemon stages, are purely coincidental, I assure you. If there was a stage that I honestly thought was better than these, then I would have chosen them. But there isn't, so let's carry on. The Kalos Pokemon League is probably one of the most varied stages in Smash Wii U and 3DS. It may even be the most varied if Orbital Gate Assault wasn't there. You'll start off in the main Elite Four area, but soon after you'll magically be transported to an Elite Four member's room. Each room and each visit will change from one time to the next. In the Blazing Chamber, pillars of fire rise from the platforms beside you and give the room a very hot vibe. Pokemon in the background are fire types ranging from Blaziken to Pyroar. Heck, even Ho-Oh can appear as a stage hazard from time to time. The Ironworks Chamber is pretty awesome too. Upon arrival, two giant swords fall in on Mario RPG style, and act as both platforms and hazards. You can hit these swords so they won't harm anyone. And smack in the middle of the stage will pop out a metallic fountain which will transform you into metal upon contact. The stage's lighting really brings out the shine in the metal and makes it look probably the nicest out of all the lighting. Pokemon here are all steel types such as Honedge, Scizor, and Steelix. Registeel can emerge as well sometimes. Sadly, he's a little more than a glorified POW block. The Flood Chamber is probably my least favorite section overall. Not much visually changes from the starting area save a few shades of blue, and it really just has a stupid gimmick. Two slanted surfaces come in from the side and water tries to take you out. It's not particularly difficult to avoid, and there's two platforms there to save you in the first place. It's not a bad section, it's just meh. Oh yeah, and the Pokemon here include Clawster, Blastoise, and Wailord. Manaphy sometimes shows up too, turning the main platform into a drain, which honestly feels much more effective than a tiny river. Finally, there's the Dragon Mark Chamber, which is honestly my favorite part of the stage. The platform is changed to a more noticeable palette of brown and purple. Sitting in the background is a giant dragon statue, which in of itself is a stage hazard. Whenever it is targeted the area it wants to attack, its eyes will glow, causing a vortex to appear and a giant pillar of energy to erupt from below. It's quite a sight. This area's Pokemon consist of dragon types, such as Axew and Dragonite. Rayquaza has also been demoted from a boss to a stage hazard, which isn't a bad thing, it's just kind of an underwhelming return. Something that I feel should have been part of this stage that wasn't is the Radiant Chamber in X and Y, as it's the most beautiful looking room in that game. There could have been some really cool features too, like fairy types and such. Omissions aside, this stage has obviously topped my list, so the music had to have had some part in it. There are 14 great songs from throughout the recent Pokemon generations, 7 of which are amazing remixes, especially that new composition of Cynthia's theme. Something beautiful. There is no doubt in my mind, this stage is my favorite in Super Smash Bros. For Wii U. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. I know it's been a while since I put up my last actual video, so really I am thankful for your patience. If you didn't know by now, my capture devices all died, so I had no way to record console game footage. That's besides the point though. So I return with the obligatory questions. What is your favorite stage in Super Smash Bros. For Wii U, and why? Tell me in the comments. Also, if you're curious, many of the songs I used in this video were from the Harmony of Heroes fan soundtrack, which you can find a link to in the description. Thank you guys once again. I love and appreciate all the support that you've given me. Truly, I'm grateful. I hope not to be gone for another 6 months, and I also hope to bring you many, many more videos soon. Until next time, take care.